Good morning.
Morning, and how are you, my lovely lady?
I'm okay. How are
Yeah,
you?
I'm good, good. Energy's a bit intense, but hey ho.
Oh, gee whiz. I always associate you with that lovely, gorgeous blue. And
Do
I've
you?
just thought, yeah, blue and orange, but blue more. And it just
Got my
reminds
own.
me of, I know.
There you
It just
go.
always puts me in mind of Mother Mary, like, every time. It's like, yeah, it's lovely. And we
Oh,
both
thank
have our
you.
crosses on today. This is
We
new for
have.
me.
We have. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have a conversation with you about that another time. Lots going on, lots going on. So,
yeah,
but today, thank you because this is my brand new channel and I'm going on YouTube and it's called Spiritually Speaking with Jules. So, and it's
amazing.
about everything spiritual and
Yeah,
how people, it's really about other people. It's not about me. It's about
yeah.
their journeys, why they started, how they started. How was that for you? Not to
Good
put
Lord.
anybody off. Oh dear. So I mean I was quite late. I was about 30, 31 when I started. But when I get
Really?
into something, I'm in it.
It's
And I
like
want
that.
to, yeah, and I want to learn that. And then I want to that and that and that leads to that.
Yeah,
And then I'm in it. So yeah, so tell
hungry.
me when it started for you and what that looked like.
I actually, me and my post-its. I thought I better write some things down because I know what I'm like. I'll forget some of my journey, but I think I've always had a knowing. I think most people have a knowing. They just can't articulate it. They don't quite understand it until it sort of fully drops into your body.
Yeah.
Um, I've always seen things, felt things, heard things when I was very young. And in fact, thank you because sorry, I'm just communicating with source for those who are watching this. It's just dropped in for me. I'd forgotten about this. It's not even on my post-its, Jules. So when I was very young,
Yeah.
probably 4 or 5, so primary school, I vividly remember what I thought was dreaming, like lucid dreaming, every night, and I'd know exactly what was going to happen the day after,
Wow.
and the day after, and the day after. And obviously, when you're that young,
Yeah.
you've no idea. I mean,
No.
I don't remember feeling scared. I was just, again, had this knowing that, oh, I know how this is going to play out. I know what I'm going to do then. I know what I'm going to do then. I know what time playtime is, even though I had no concept of time being that age. So that was kind of the first big one, I think. And as I grew up and progressed, I think 9/11. I can't remember if I was 18 or 19, many, many moons ago. And I remember I watched it live because I was working behind a bar and it was live and we were setting up for the day. And it was like I couldn't understand what this shift was,
Yeah.
but there was a shift. There was something in the pit of my stomach that was like, this whole world, this whole matrix is going to change.
Yeah.
But I didn't know why or when. And I guess I've always described myself as spiritual. I've played around and dabbled with other religions, including Catholicism, would you believe?
Yeah.
Um, I hope my auntie and uncle don't see this. They're in Canada, so I'm sure they won't. So they are like heavily, heavily into
Mm.
horrors people. And when I was 15, that had just dropped in as well. Um, I visited them for 6 weeks. I mean, how amazing is that? To spend 6 weeks in Canada. It was awesome. However, there was this whole Catholic vibe. And I remember I didn't really like going to church because they went to church twice a day, every day, right?
Wow.
But I know
That's
this is
devoted. That's devoted. Yeah. Yeah.
that's one word. for
Yes.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I've always loved churches. I've loved those sacred spaces. And I remember there was like a play scheme underneath, which I was underneath the church, which I was working in with my cousins. And I just remember going into the church upstairs, and it wasn't a fancy one. Um, I'm just feeling this stillness and this really strong connection with Jesus at the
Yes.
time,
Yes.
with Mother Mary. And I used to get the Bible out and just
Mm,
open it. I
mm.
didn't know why I was doing it.
Yeah.
And quite often it would be because there were songbooks as well, Ave Maria.
I
And I'd
love
be
that
like,
song. I love that.
me too. I've
Yeah.
got chills.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I just remember this stillness and this niceness, and that I dabbled a lot with the Catholic faith. Um, and that's definitely linked to some of my past lives, which I will touch on some of them. But yeah, I hadn't even planned to talk about that either. So yeah, that dropped in. That was quite significant for me. And I think I was probably a bit traumatized actually after it because that's when, thank you. I've just remembered or been given that's actually when I remember being very fearful because my auntie and uncle told me that the devil was real.
Yeah.
He's real, Sam. I mean, you don't really tell a 15-year-old that who's away from home,
No, you don't.
right?
No, you don't.
That's where the trauma has come in. I mean, my mom, when I got home, was like apoplectic about this situation. That's a different story. That's a very 3D story. Bless her. Um, But that's when I became very frightened and I was filled with fear. And I actually had to sleep next to my cousin for, I think it was a couple of weeks because I was so scared.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's like, well, I was learning about the dark and the light
Yeah.
and the difference between them. It was just through the lens of the Catholic faith.
But you'd
So
been
that,
actually touched. You'd been touched by the feeling
yeah,
of the connection of, as you said, Jesus and Mother Mary in
yeah,
that holy
yes,
place, and
yeah,
the what you're connected because it's what do you need me to know, and you open at the particular
that's
page.
it.
So there's that
Yeah,
communication going, but then suddenly that's
guess
been,
what?
yeah, guess
Yeah,
what? You could be dabbling with the
exactly.
devil, even though you knew it was good, but then you literally had to shut the door on yourself to
I
protect
did,
yourself because of the fear that you
and
were
that's a
being told.
theme,
Yeah. Okay.
100% a theme
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
loads of my past lives on this planet, in the higher dimensions, on Orion and Atlantis, Lemuria, all of it.
Yeah.
All of it has the same thing. It's about me shutting down to protect myself. It's really interesting that those stories have come up today because I don't talk about them. You won't have heard me talk about them
No,
even on TikTok lives.
no.
So this is really cool for me. It's like, oh, getting it all out. That's where it comes from.
Yeah.
So
Therapy
I
with
think
Jules.
I know exactly. This is it, man. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. This is good. This is really good. So I don't really know from my teenage years, there was boyfriends, there was, broken hearts, there was, doing the normal stuff, studying, yada, yada, yada. Um, but I knew I could read people's energy.
Yeah,
Again, I didn't understand,
yeah,
but I knew when I walked into a room, I could read. I would look and I'd know what mood people were in. I'd
yeah,
know that there was something going on in their lives. I'd know if they'd had like a physical ailment. But again, I brushed it aside. It's too scary, right?
yeah. But
Like,
are
what are
you
these
an
gifts
empath?
about?
Are you taking on their energy as well?
I used to. I
Right.
used to
Okay.
all the time.
Yeah,
I don't do that now because I find that, well, as my gifts have progressed and my skills, I've had to put some tools and skills in
yeah,
place to not do that.
yeah,
Sometimes it happens with someone who's got things attached to them
yeah,
and they make themselves known to me. So
yeah,
that's when I have to be super careful. Um But yeah, so that you're right. I was an empath then. Again, couldn't define it, didn't
Yeah.
know
But you can
how to
see
define it.
how very sensitive empaths walk into a room, a crowded public place,
Absolutely.
overwhelmed by the
Totally.
feelings and emotions of everyone around them. They get the anxiety. They think
Yeah.
it's them that's at fault. They
Yes.
get medicated because
That's it.
they've got this anxiety.
Yeah.
And all it is, they're just hyper aware, hypersensitive, and
That's
in
it.
tune with their surroundings and everybody in it.
Totally in tune. And
Yeah,
I remember, in fact, this happened to me not that long ago. Because like usual, things have just gone
yeah,
when you start opening doors, it's
yeah,
all sorts coming in. You're like, whoa, okay, enough already. I remember walking around a retail park. It must have only been about 4 years ago, and they're busy old places, right?
yeah, they are.
And I could hear people's thoughts.
Wow.
Literally, when I was walking past them, and I was like, "Okay, I think I'm going mad. I think I'm going mad.
Yeah.
I've got these voices in my head." And my mom, God love her. Hi, mom. Um, she um, she works with schizophrenics. She
Right.
works with people with severe mental
Yeah,
health illnesses.
yeah,
So I called her and I was like, "Mom, I'm hearing all these voices." And she's like, "Okay, let's just break it down." She's very logical,
yeah,
goes through the steps. So we had a long conversation about that because I didn't feel crazy.
yeah.
I was just picking it up.
Interesting. Yeah,
So that's something I had to learn to not do, to shut some of my power down, if you
yeah.
like, because you can't take that on, as well as feeling it,
Mm,
as well as hearing it, like, come on,
mm,
and then getting images in your head.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's just like, it's way too much. So it's like the universe was kind of testing me a little bit, see how much I could deal with.
yeah.
So yeah, where do I want to go next? Oh, Source has dropped a year in, which you will definitely have heard me talk about this before. Um, so a lot of my past lives have been, I've been a witch, I've been a grand high witch, a grand high priestess. I've been very, very powerful. Most of the time operating in the dark. Um, which I think took me a little bit to get over because you do have guilt and shame. And the universe has dropped in the year 2017, and that was very significant for me because I was dabbling yet again in the dark arts, I guess people would call it. I was actually, oh, I feel awkward just saying it out loud. Um, I was working with demons, but I was harnessing their power. I wasn't. They were just manipulating me. I was harnessing their power using Hebrew spells, and they some of these rituals would take about 45 minutes. These were not, 5 minutes. Oh, demon X, Y, and Z, come and help me. I want to get rich. I want to do this. I want to do this. It was all anchored in the 3D. It wasn't about, oh, I want this gift. It was nothing to do with that. It was, I want to get what I want. So I'm not going to name the demons because obviously I don't want to wake them up. They probably
No,
already
no,
know
let's
that I'm
let's
talking
not.
about them.
Yeah, let's keep it
Um,
discreet. Yeah,
oh yes, they tend to keep away from me now because of what I am capable of. That's another story. So yeah, I started doing that because I'm always drawn to the dark side of things. Well, I was, not anymore. And again, that sort of played out loads and loads of times previously. Um, but I remember 2017 was like the biggest shock of my life. So I was doing all these rituals for months and months and months, right? And they worked. I don't advocate them, and I would never
no,
tell anybody what the books
no.
are because they are actually available on Amazon,
Yeah,
believe it or
yeah,
not. Right?
yeah,
It's ridiculous.
yeah,
So months and months and months went by. I was using different magic, dark magic, different rituals, different spells, and these things were happening to me. And I was like, this is amazing. This is so cool. And then this one night, I'd gone to bed and I just sat, you know, like in a horror film,
Yeah.
and you sit bolt upright in bed.
Yeah.
That's exactly what, for no reason whatsoever, other than I knew there was an energy
Yeah.
in my room. And I looked, and there was this, it looked about 9 foot tall, Jules, with wings. It was bright white, and
Yeah.
it appeared to me as an angel. And I knew it
Yeah.
was a demon the
Yeah.
moment I saw it.
Yeah.
And apparently, I let out the most blood curdling scream
Yeah.
ever. It just exploded out of me. And my partner ran upstairs, must have been about 11:30 at night. He's like, "Oh my God, what's happening?" I'm like, "I've literally just seen a demon."
Yeah.
And I described it, and he was like, "That makes no sense." I'm like, "I know, I know. And now I don't know what to do."
Mm.
So it was horrible. And I'm not frightened of them anymore, obviously. But in that moment, I actually really, I thought they were going to take me.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to take
And
me.
they have been known to, and they have been known
Yes, they
to.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you feel you broke the contracts? Because you'd entered into a contract with them. How did you
Hmm.
break that?
So this took quite a number of years because I had to understand it first. I
Yeah.
didn't understand what was happening to me. I knew what I'd done was wrong then.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then I joined a really cute spiritual church in Wrexham. And I said to them, there's things happening in my house. And I didn't tell them about the demon, but things were flying. It was like poltergeist. Things were flying across the room, things were being smashed.
Yeah.
All the the general stuff that you would imagine happens, it does happen.
Yeah, it does. I've had it happen to me. Yeah.
Awful,
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
So I kind of just joined that, and I realized that I had all these weird and wonderful gifts, and one of them was psychometry. Um, so that was really strange for me. I'd never done it before, but I told this lady exactly what had been wrong with her. There was cancers involved. There was a tracheotomy involved. There's like literally all this stuff was pouring out of me. And then we did lots of work on aura, blah, blah, blah. So that was like me stepping back into exploring. But nobody in that church could help me because they didn't understand how to remove demons.
Yes. Yes.
So I met, she was one of my, I'm actually not going to give her a shout out, thank you. I will say that her name was Sarah. I met her out of nowhere. She was a crystal therapist, and we connected, and we were very close, and she taught me a lot of stuff about stepping back into my power. But it turns out she was a massive narcissist. She hasn't done her own healing. However, I will never take away the fact that she taught me a lot, and she
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
And that's how I moved into exploring how to get rid of attachments, because she was talking about it. Now, she couldn't do it,
Yeah.
but then she introduced me to Steve, and I am going to give him a shout out. Steve Deeks de Silva, amazing. All he does is entity removal. He's done
Yeah.
it for 15 years. So that's, I went to him, which was a fair few years after 2017, and I was frightened to death because I knew I
Yeah.
had so much stuff attached to me, and I did. So what Steve does, he breaks the contracts
Yeah.
for
And
you.
there could be quite a few, because there could be a
Oh, there's
contract
loads.
with one for one and one for another and one for another.
100%.
Yeah. It's getting rid of them
100%.
all. It's not just the one. Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah. I know.
We had about 5 things going on,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
there's quite common ones as well, like astral parasites that hook into your chakra points.
Right.
There's demons that try and come in and tear your aura, so you feel absolutely horrendous, wiped out, and you're leaking energy. And only 3 years ago, the universe is asking me to just touch on this. There are some rare ones that can attach to you, and they're called stingrays because they look like stingrays, except they're like see-through, and they're purple and they're weird, but they actually attach to your heart chakra. And I didn't have one, I had two. One at the front, it was
Wow.
massive, and one at the back, massive.
Yeah.
And Steve, normally it takes a few days to get back to you. It was about half an hour. He
Yeah.
tuned in. He was like, Sam, you've got these attached to you. This is only the fourth time I've seen it ever.
Mm.
They are really dangerous.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that. Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm petrified. Because
Yeah.
I was like, what do I do? What do I do? Do I
Yeah.
just sit still? Like what? So
Yeah.
he said, I'm going to do it now. I'm going to do it now. I need you to not do anything for the next 2 hours. So I was literally sat like a kid, you know, with like your arms
Yeah.
crossed in
Yeah.
school. I was so frightened, Jules. And I
Yeah.
was more frightened of those than I, obviously, because I'd learned more.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was only 3 years ago. And this whole time, just been learning how to protect my energy.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, it was dropped in. You could do this yourself, Sam. You
Mm.
can do this for other people, Sam.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
And it was, nobody taught me. I asked a little bit of Steve, some of his methods, but he gave me some advice, which was about 2 paragraphs.
Yeah.
The rest of it I figured out for myself.
Yeah.
And I used to work in the 4D, so that's where I take people to get rid of them. That's the most appropriate place because we can't have demons in the 5D.
No.
But honestly, it's something I had to do as part of my journey. It's a power that I had to reclaim for myself. I did dabble again in it this year a few times, as you know, but I'm not doing it anymore because it's hard work, and I don't want to be
Yeah.
operating in the dark because you still are.
Yeah.
You
Just to
still are.
clarify, you're dabbling in removal of entities. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not working. Yeah.
Not going back in the dark. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Not harnessing the demons again,
No,
guys, I
no, no,
promise.
no,
No.
no, no.
No. So so what Steve did for me, I
Yeah.
started doing for other
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did it I think I did it solidly for 2.5 years,
Yeah.
and I was exhausted.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it takes half an hour, sometimes it takes an hour and a half, but obviously sometimes it takes 2 hours.
Yeah.
But you've got to make sure that your energy is in the best place so that you don't then get attacked. And
Absolutely.